only God is good, we're not. Mag-aminan tayo, kahit ang pinakamabait at pinakababuting tao sa mundo, may mga mistake sa buhay. Okay? So isipin natin yung point dito sa naging pag-uusap ng ating Panginoong Hesus sa lalaking mayaman. Okay? Nagtanong yung lalaking mayaman sabi ng naturang mayaman, mabuting guro, ano po ang dapat kong gawin para magkaroon ng buhay na walang hanggan? Sinimulan ito ng Panginoong Hesus sa pagsasabing, bakit mo sinasabing mabuti ako? Ang Diyos lang ang mabuti, wala ng iba. Ibig bang sabihin, tinanggihan ng Panginoong Hesus yung kanyang pagka-Diyos? Not so much. Jesus did not deny he was God to the said young rich ruler. He simply asked him to examine the implications of what he was saying. Kumbaga parang sinasabi ng Lord sa naturang mayamang lalaki, do you realize what you are saying when you call me good? Are you saying I am God? Ang point doon, listen, yung naturang lalaking mayaman, hindi niya na-realize yung implications sa kanyang pinagsasabi. Thus, Jesus was forcing him to a very uncomfortable dilemma. Kung si Jesus ba ay tunay ngang mabuti at Diyos, o kung si Jesus ay masama, a good God or a bad man, but not merely a good man. Those are the real alternatives with regard to Christ. For no good man would claim to be God when he was not. Listen, mga kaibigan, kahit sino man, kahit yung pinakamabait na tao sa buong mundo, merong kasalanan yan, hayag man o hindi. But if atheism is true, wala matatawag na objectively good and objectively evil. Ngayon kung sasabihin na God does not exist because of the evil things that happen in the world, sorry to tell you, hindi po nagwo-work yan sa atheistic worldview. Hindi po nagwo-work yan sa naturalism. It only points out to the fact that kung mayroong kasamaan na nangyayari, then may kabutihan. Pero yung kabutihan na yan ay nagaganap lamang o meron talagang kabutihan kung merong pinaka-source niyan at walang iba kundi ang ating Panginoon. The existence of evil actually disproves atheism. Kasi evil doesn't exist on its own. It only exists as a lack or a deficiency in a good thing. Ang evil o ang kasama na parang, sabihin natin, parang kalawang yan na nasa may bakal. Ganon yun. Bukod dito, maging honest tayo. Kung sasabihin natin na walang Diyos dahil sa kasamaan, how can we justify those evils na nagaganap ngayon kung walang matatawag na moral standard? Diba? So at this point, kung isipin lang po natin itong mabuti, take note. Sabi nga ni Dr. Frank Turek sa kanyang libro, evil cannot exist unless good exists. But good can't exist unless God exists. In other words, sabi niya, there can be no objective evil unless there is objective good. And there can be no objective good unless God exists. Because His nature is by definition what we mean by objective good. Kaya nga yung point ng Panginoong Jesus nung sinabi niya sa mayamang lalaki na ang Diyos lamang ay mabuti, it only points out the fact that God and God alone is the source of goodness. But if there's no God, wala pong matatawag na objectively good and evil. Kasi tingnan nyo, kung ang sasabihin natin, evil exists, therefore God does not exist, it doesn't follow. Okay? Kasi kung tutuusin, maring parang nakakalito yata yan, but whether we like it or not, kung mayroong masasabing kasamaan, on the flip side, may kabutihan. Pero kanino nanggagaling yung nakabubuti? Sa mismong pinaka-source ng kabutihan. At walang iba kundi ang Panginoon. So, if our skeptic friends will argue, like, O, kita mo yung mga nangyayari sa ating paligid, therefore walang Diyos? Well, there is something fishy sa naturang argument na yan. Kasi tingnan natin, if they say that mas makabubuti yung empathy, but if God does not exist, paano natin masasabing objectively good yung empathy? Okay, fine. We can exercise empathy to others, which is good naman, nakabubuti. But to our skeptic friends who are saying that there's no God, ano ba yung justification para sabihin mas nakabubuti yung empathy? If God does not exist, paano natin masasabing nakabubuti yan? So, when they appeal to good, they are actually appealing to the nature of God. Katunayan, they are stealing the aspects of reality that only make sense if God exists, in order to argue against Him, in order to make some sort of many complaints against Him. Like for example, someone told me, your God is an incompetent idiot. God forbid. But if God does not exist from the beginning on the said belief that He has, paano niyo naman justify? Diba? At kung sasabihin na may standard, yung standard kung nagsasabi na ang Diyos ay ganito, ganyan, opinion lamang yun. Diba? So, kumbaga lumalabas lamang na if they will say that evil does not prove that evil prove that God does not exist, actually kabaligtaran pala yun. Well, mag-reflect lang tayo ng konti. Kung walang Diyos, paano natin masasabing ang isang attribute o ang isang character ay mabuti o masama? If there are no objective moral values and duties, how can we say that empathy is better than doing something wrong? Nasa sa iyong pagpapasya, kaibigan.